getting to an incredibly interesting buy the dip moment. Nothing happening here is out of the ordinary apart from the peak fear narrative. Sentiment is wildly overdone here. And don't forget, coming out of we're going to tariff everybody a gazillion percent will be the walk back, the discussions, the negotiations, the agreements, and all of that will take uncertainty out of the market. So on a forward-looking basis, ignore all the work that we've just done. Is there likely to be less uncertainty or more uncertainty in a month's time? It is almost 100% likely to be less uncertainty.
Despite market declines, Solana's price has shown a positive trend, fueling debates about whether its next rally will surpass the $300 threshold. Raoul Pal is one of the most well-known experts analyzing Solana's price performance. He noted that Solana is currently recovering from an oversold situation, indicating that a significant increase is about to begin. Despite Solana's potential to reach $300, Rexus Finance is showing bullish momentum and could surpass Solana by 2025. The Rexus price could increase 150-fold by 2025, surpassing Solana's rise to $300. Renowned analyst Raoul Pal highlighted Solana's technical setup. Solana is oversold by 2 standard deviations in the logarithmic regression channel. Furthermore, the cryptocurrency's relative strength index, RSI, reached its lowest level since the market crash in 2022, indicating that selling pressure may have eased. Given the possibility of a strong trend reversal, Pal indicated that now may be the ideal time for investors to buy the dips. However, he has refrained from creating new leads at the current level and is perhaps waiting for validation of a trend change. Although volatility never goes away, Solana outperformed Bitcoin by more than 1.2% over the same period. Solana's price fell 27% last month, but its recent rebound from oversold levels indicates renewed investor activity at lower prices. Analysts believe the next bullish wave could take the cryptocurrency well beyond the $300 mark if Solana maintains its momentum and breaks critical resistance levels. According to Raoul Pal, you will be thrilled if you buy the current dip of Solana and Bitcoin. Before we move forward, if you want to stay updated with the latest crypto events and news, you can subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now, let's get back to Raoul Pal's view on Solana and the overall crypto market.
Correction is in line with expectations. Then again, you've got the big picture macro, the business cycle, the liquidity analysis, the sentiment analysis, and the technical analysis, all telling you that maybe everybody is over-fearing and that the upside projections are the probabilities are for upside as opposed to downside.
Bitcoin should be putting in new all-time highs, or at least hovering around all-time highs by the end of June. And, the same is true for the NASDAQ.
Markets hate uncertainty more than anything else. They overshoot when they're trying to price uncertainty, and then they'll price in the outcomes. So it is usually buy the room, sell the rumor, buy the fact when it comes to negative news. This is where we are. We're in a time that is almost as peak fear. It's similar to 2018 when the Fed pivoted. These kind of things, even 2008, these things don't come often, but when they come, they're a gift.
Is the banana zone canceled? The answer is, in our view, no. We have seen over the last 2.5 years, 7, 20 to 30% pullbacks in Bitcoin. And while you're feeling this current one, because we're still in it at the moment, you probably don't remember any of the other ones that we saw because off the low point, Bitcoin, even with prices coming lower.
Apart from the other 30% one, which was that September one, which...
That final flush.
Yeah, people remember that, like they'll remember this, but the rest, I can't fucking remember any of them.
Yeah, I don't either. I just remember it being what we were calling at the time the boring zone. I was just waiting, and it felt so long. But again, even with prices coming down, over the course of Q1, we're still up 400% off the low. So you don't remember these things once they come to pass.
Pal predicted that the current cryptocurrency bull market cycle, initially expected to peak in 2025, could extend into 2026 due to a prolonged economic cycle. Pal addressed the chaotic market conditions, reassuring cryptocurrency investors facing high volatility and explaining why he believes the cycle's expansion is consistent with broader economic indicators. The veteran macroeconomic analyst noted that the sluggish economic cycle, below the key threshold of 50 on the ISM survey, a measure of economic activity, is now showing signs of expanding, pushing back the cryptocurrency market's peak. According to him, the economic cycle takes time to stay below 50 and is just beginning to expand. He attributes the expansion to improving financial conditions, including a weakening U.S. dollar and anticipated lower interest rates, which he believes will boost risk on assets like Bitcoin and altcoins. Paul pointed to Bitcoin's recent plunge from a high of $110,000 to $80,000 and Solana's 53% drop as typical signs of volatility in a bull market, urging patience. He cited historical patterns, such as the 2017 cycle during Trump's first term, where a similar dollar-driven economic slowdown preceded a surge in cryptocurrencies. Paul's don't blow it theory advises against leverage and overexposure to small altcoins and advocates for a portfolio anchored in majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. He highlighted Solana's oversold value relative to the global M2 as a buying opportunity, predicting that the stock will outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum until the end of the cycle. Drawing on extensive research from global macro investor, Paul linked the cryptocurrency's trajectory to macroeconomic factors like the ISM index, which he predicts will rise above 60, potentially pushing Bitcoin past $300,000. Paul, who predicts Bitcoin will reach $350,000 by 2025, said Bitcoin has the potential to surpass $500,000. Analyzing past trends and current market conditions, Paul said Bitcoin is headed for a strong rally in 2025. Supported by global liquidity and a maturing market, Paul compared the current market to 2017 after Trump's election, when Bitcoin surged thanks to steady liquidity inflows. Paul said he expects only slight pullbacks in Bitcoin from now on, predicting it could drop to 90,000 before recovering. The renowned investor identified 3 potential price targets for Bitcoin that he anticipates by the end of 2025. Worst case scenario, Bitcoin's price reaches between $200,000 and $250,000. Best case scenario, Bitcoin rises to $350,000. Bullish scenario, if the market breaks out like in 2017, Bitcoin could surpass $500,000. Escalating trade tensions and renewed uncertainty in global markets are driving investors toward alternative assets, including Bitcoin and tokenized real assets, RWA, as a growing concern over the long-term stability of the financial system. Global trade tensions continue to put pressure on investor sentiment despite U.S. President Donald Trump's April 9th announcement of a 90-day pause on higher reciprocal tariffs, which will bring tariffs back to the benchmark 10% level for most countries. President Trump's tariff escalation marks a significant inflection point for global markets, a move that signals more than just a trade disagreement. And as U.S. and China face what he describes as unsustainable debt levels, Pornprinia warned against increased reliance on inflationary tools, including a potential depreciation of the Chinese yuan. On-chain real-world assets, WRAs, also surpassed a record $20 billion on April 9th, with tokenized private credit accounting for the largest share, or $12.7 billion of total RWA value. Some industry observers have said that Bitcoin's lack of bullish momentum could push RWAs to an all-time high of $50 billion before the end of 2025, as their increased liquidity will help them attract a significant share of $450 trillion global asset market. Despite investor concerns, analysts at cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex said the fee hike may not represent a long-term policy change.